Hey kids, it's Grandpa Jerry once again offering you a Laurel and Hardy hello. Get it? Cause it's... Well, if you don't know who these two guys are, it's probably because you're too young to know. But that's okay, because they're gonna be who we're drawing today. So, put on your bowler hats and let's get started.
Here's another nice mess you got me into.
So if you didn't get the pun earlier, today's subject we are drawing is
Sir Stanley Laurel, Oliver Norval Hardy, sir.
If you haven't realized, I am a Laurel and Hardy fanatic. I even dressed for the occasion today. And if you don't know who they are probably one of the greatest comedy duos ever to exist in American history. They starred in a number of films, most notably The Music Box, Way Out West, Sons of the Desert, and The Flying Deuces. And hopefully throughout today's video, I can get you just as interested in Stan and Ollie just as much as I am. So, let's get started! Now, since I'll be drawing these two characters together, I'll be jumping back and forth, starting with Hardy. Like any figure, you're going to start out with your basic circle, but Hardy has a very big face, so we're going to pull down an oval from this circle, and we'll divide that into fourths. But because he has a very plump face, we're going to just pull out the oval just a little bit right here. It's going to be like a little hump off the side of the face. And that's the basic skeleton for Hardy. Now we're going to jump over to Laurel. Laurel will do the same thing, another circle, but he has a long face just like me. So we're going to pull out another oval and dividing it to fourths. Laurel has some very distinct cheeks, so we need to mark those right there. So we're going to put circles around right here and one right here. I'll mark off where his chin goes because his chin pretty much gets tucked into his neck. So we'll pull in from the circle of the cheek onto the circle of the chin. The thing that made this duo so iconic is their contrast in body types. You can kind of look at them as if one's a bowling ball and one's a bowling pin. So we're going to give Hardy a big body stretching out from the side. But I'm going to put Laurel in front of Hardy, so I should probably start with him. And just draw on his shoulders and gesture out where the shape of his body is. Now we got their basic construction down, we're going to go into more specifics with their face, starting with Hardy once again. I like to start out with Hardy's eyes, and then he has a very oval nose and an oval ear. And just like Laurel, Hardy has some very distinct cheeks as well, but they're not as prominent to his construction, so we'll throw those on there right now. And they're just like all his other features, just simple ovals. Now, obviously, the most iconic feature of this duo is their bowler hats, hence why I'm wearing mine today. We're going to pull a U shape off the top of the cranium, and for the brim, we're just going to sketch out a sort of like a circle, but it's going to dip in at the middle like so. Hardy also, because he's a very large man, has a double chin. Just like everything else, it is basically a U shape. And we got to put his little mouth there. His eyebrows, we're going to throw on some eyebrows. I'll just do a quick sketch for those. A quick mark up for where his shirt is, though I'm not going to put anything in there yet, just so I can know where I'm going with it. And his mustache. Hardy is known for his mustache. He, just like Charlie Chaplin, has a toothbrush mustache. It was very popular around the time of the 20s and the 40s, though I wonder why that fell out of fashion. Anywho. And that's basically the roughs for Hardy. Now we'll move on to Laurel's face. Now, just like me, I like to start off with the nose. Now, Laurel doesn't have exactly a spout of a nose, but we're going to caricature it as such. He has some very long oval eyes, however in actuality he has beady eyes like me. And now we're going to move on to the mouth. Now when it comes to doing Stan Laurel's face, he has a very distinct expression that characterizes his position in the duo. He was always playing the clown of the two, whereas Oliver Hardy was the straight man. And, well, his expression more or less will something around the lines of this. He does a lot better than me, I just look drunk when I do it, but that's what we're going to try to capture. Marking where the ends are. So right here at the nose, there's one mark, and over here at the cheek, and we'll just do a rounded off rectangle from one end to the other, cheek to cheek. His mouth is so wide you can almost put a plate in here. but it's a caricature. It doesn't have to be accurate. And same process with the hat that we did on Hardy. A U shape from the top of the cranium, one end to the other. And we'll just gesture out a simple circle for his hat, considering his brim doesn't have a dip. Now Stan Laurel also had some very pointy ears. They kind of jutted out on the side, so we're going to do an angled out oval. Now we need to get his raised eyebrows, his very relaxed but raised eyebrows, and all the wrinkles at the top of his head. You know I love wrinkles. And we'll sketch on the parts of his shirt and his bow tie. And now we're going to move over to Hardy and do the hardest thing for me, and that is hands. But the hands are so important to capturing the essence of Oliver Hardy. In his prime, he was 6'1" and weighed 280 pounds. So his hands were very comical to his character. He was always doing something very dainty with them. He was always playing with his tie and waving with it. And so with the hands, I'm just going to do these little circles as to where I think they may go. I'm not actually going to draw the fingers, I'm just going to do these little lines to know where things are going, and then I'll plump them out later. Now as I'm doing the tie, I'm being very sketchy with it. I'm going to kind of make it look like it's floating in space, just these nice S-curves, to get some idea as to where it's being lifted. And then when I apply the hands, they'll have some anchorage to it. It doesn't really matter where you put the arms, because I'm going to do the final drawing in black and white, and his hands are just going to be floating there. And with that completes our rough drawing. So you know what that means? It's time to tie down the image. And while I'm tying down the image, I would like to talk a little bit about what drew me to draw Laurel and Hardy. See what I did there? So my fascination with Laurel and Hardy comes far beyond the fact that they are probably one of the best comedic duos to ever come out of classic cinema. But it really derived from the fact that Oliver Hardy is from Georgia, which is where I'm from. Go Dogs. Just kidding, I go to SCAD. I really like finding people who come from my state and make it in show business. It's very encouraging to me. Oliver Hardy is from Harlem, Georgia, which is not too far from where I live, and he wanted to try breaking into the motion picture business. So he went to Hollywood and signed on with Hal Roach Studios. Now, Stan comes from England, of course, and he came over here after studying years in the music halls under Charlie Chaplin, and Hal Roach saw the comedic potential between the two and paired them up. And the two of them together were phenomenally hilarious. They went on to make over 107 films together. That was like 32 silent shorts, 40 talking shorts, and 23 feature-length films. The comedy of them still hold up today. Granted, a lot of it is slapstick, but it's very, very good slapstick. Laurel and Hardy were so influential to comedy. Of course, this was attributed mostly to Stan. He wrote all the material that both of them performed. Stan Laurel became sort of a guru to these rising comedians. It was sort of a rite of passage to go to him and just talk to him. These people are like Jerry Lewis, Dick Van Dyke, just so they could learn from him. And in 1961, Stan finally got an Oscar for his contribution to comedy in film. I think he called it Mr. Clean.
Gee, Ollie, you know, this is just like old times. You and I been together.
You took the words right out of my mouth.
We sure used to have a lot of fun, didn't we?
We sure did.
But the thing I like the most about Laurel and Hardy is the fact that the relationship that they have on screen is the relationship that they carry off screen. There was no sense of competition or it was just a job. They were friends. They always thought they were there to make the other one look good on film. And that's essentially the dynamic they had.
She says that I think more of you than I do of her.
Well, you do, don't you?
But we won't go into that.
And with that, our line drawing looks complete. We'll sign our name. I think it looks pretty good. Of course, now I'm going to go digitally color it on my iPad using Adobe Sketch, so we'll cut to that real quick. And there we have it, Laurel and Hardy. Now, of course, I did take some liberties whenever I got into the digital software, just fine-tuning the image a little bit more till I got it where it looked perfect, in my opinion. Now, that's all I have for you today, kids. I hope you enjoyed what I drew for you today and got you interested into Laurel and Hardy. Take some time, look up their films. I'm sure you can find some of them on YouTube. And if you like the work I do, try following me on Instagram. Why did I say try? Follow me on Instagram. I post pictures on there time to time. I have a cartoon series called Duck and George. I think everyone enjoys, and I'll post more pictures like this in the future. What am I gonna do now? I'm gonna go watch the Flying Deuces, so bye!